But in truth, death is not an end. It's just a continuation of your relationship while you're in this body. It's going to be in a new form, obviously, because now they're a spirit. So you, first of all, must accept the idea. I know people, and I've worked with somebody before who was in complete resistance to the idea that her partner had crossed. She kept railing that it was unfair, that they had been so happy. This was wrong. This can't be. And it broke her. I'll just say that. It just completely broke her. Okay. If you want this relationship, number one, you got to accept that's what happened. Number two, make peace with it and at least say, you know what? I want to make the best out of it that I can, right? Say, I'm going to see how it goes, but I'm going to do my best to remain optimistic. But if you are refusing to accept it and cannot wrap your head around it, that's okay. But I wouldn't even attempt to connect through the veil until you at least are on board with it and see it for what it can be is something beautiful and positive. Different, yes, but different doesn't mean inferior. Different only means different. Look it up in the dictionary. Different isn't defined as less than. You're the one that can assign meaning to it because life is essentially meaningless. What that means is we assign meaning to things. We can assign a meaning to anything and make it that way. So why not assign the meaning of your loved one's death as opening a door to a higher, greater union with them that few people get to experience, but you do if you want to, if you choose to, but you don't have to. You know, you can wait till you reunite with them on the other side. But this opportunity is being presented to you by them. So it's your choice. Either way, humanity is rising up in awareness, and you're going to see more people than ever before waking up to the fact that they're a spirit, that they're a soul, right? That they're an eternal being. So you can either ride that wave and reunite with them ahead of others, because some people will come later. That's fine. You're on your own table. Take whatever time you need. But understand that, you know, you are going to see them again. There's no way you're not, unless you don't want to. And I know everyone here does want to. Now, I want to address something before we go further about contact after death, because some of you have had very strong contact in the initial months, even up to a year, maybe even a year and a half after your loved one passed. And that's not unusual because they have still a lot of what I call earth energy, residual earth energy, that makes contact with us fairly easy, even if someone's wallowing in grief, really heavy grief. Their energy is still really strong, so they don't need to work as hard to come through. The challenge you face is that sooner or later, at least within that year and a half at the outset, that energy is going to wane and be gone completely because they will have fully transitioned. And when that happens, it doesn't mean they're no longer here. This is where most people start thinking that, because now they don't have the contact that they once had. So we start worrying, like, what happened? I was getting all these signs. I was feeling her. I was even beginning to see things or whatever. And then it just seems to drop off. The main reason for that at that time period is because they have now fully transitioned. So they're at a higher state vibrationally than they were initially. I hope that makes sense to you. So that doesn't mean that you can't reach them. What that means now is it falls to us to raise our vibration, because now we're the ones that got to do the work. Before, we didn't have to do as much. At least some of us didn't. Everybody's different. That's the other thing to keep in mind. Your loved one is unique. They have their own abilities. Some have strong ability to come through. Some of them have to learn. This, I will tell you, they're not going to have any reason to really hone their ability and learn to project if you're not open to raising your vibration and connecting with them, because what's the point? It would be a waste of energy. And in fact, I've had spirits even say, yeah, I'm not coming through to my loved one because she's kind of gets freaked out. And I don't want to freak her out. So while I would love to, I sense that she's not open to it. So they're just going to wait, maybe on the side. I mean, anytime you're ready, they'll come in. But why are they going to develop their ability to project to us if we're not doing our part? It's not. We have to raise our vibration, and our connecting with them grounds them into this world where they can do more. But if we don't do that, then it's harder for them to make contact. Okay. I also want to assure you, again, I feel like the script saying, I have to say this over and over. You cannot be parted. You cannot lose them. But you can create the illusion that you've lost them, that you're parted. And they don't want that for you. You know, they don't want you to do that to yourself, but they can't stop you from doing it. When you do choose, because it's a choice, when you choose to go into fear and worry and mourning that they're gone and it's unfair and all those negative beliefs and thoughts, you basically now drop your vibration, and it's virtually impossible for them, if they fully transition, to connect with you. So we're just trying to help you understand the dynamics here, not to make you feel guilty or bad, just to understand what your actions result in. Okay, because nobody's telling you this, probably. That said, it's important that you process your grief, acknowledge it. It's natural, it's normal. Yes, feel all your feelings. Don't suppress anything. Honor them. Your grief reflects the love and connection you felt with them. So it's beautiful. That said, if you desire to have a relationship with them, you must also process any unresolved feelings you have, such as regret, remorse, anger, unforgiveness, because holding those negative emotions will block contact. You're filtering your experience of them through negativity, you know, and you're keeping your vibration low when you're holding that. So when you feel negative emotion, you're in resistance really to the love that they're attempting to share with you, to broadcast to you. You cannot judge or be upset and be in a state of unconditional love. And that is our goal here, is to feel as much love as we can for them so that we do match them. We are in resonance with them. Understand if your loved one let you down, hurt you, betrayed you, whatever they did, or even maybe even if you did things that you were not happy about, forgiving yourself and them of any perceived wrongdoings or mistakes is really critical, because being here in a body means we came knowing that we were going to make mistakes, not that we were welcoming the mistakes. We just knew that it was likely we were going to make errors, because on the earth plane, since it's a school, just as in any school, nobody gets 100% on all their tests, do they? I mean, that's almost impossible. 100% everything, perfect at everything. Well, if you're perfect at everything, why did you come here? If you wanted things to be perfect and never make an error, you would have remained in the spirit world. No, you came here knowing that you would make errors, and so would others, and you'd learn from those errors. And for some people, one of the lessons they came here to learn was forgiveness. And how do you learn forgiveness if you don't have someone to forgive? So someone would have needed to let you down or betray you. Right? Also understand that everyone leaves this world when their soul calls them home, and there are no real accidents. If, say, your loved one passed maybe by their own hand, or maybe they were in an accident, or maybe, like I have one friend whose loved one ignored the warning signs he was getting that he had a condition. And he didn't go to the doctor till too late. So she was really angry at him for not doing that and not listening to her because she kept urging him to. Okay. But he still chose that on some level. And she had to make peace with that because there really are no accidents. Everything is an orchestration of the soul. So in her case, yeah, she had a lot of anger to process because he left her with a child that was disabled that she has to care for 24/7. And he was the primary caregiver. And he, on the other side, was carrying a lot of guilt about that they've made peace with that. So she understands now that for whatever reason, that she'll know more fully when she crosses over, that this is what they planned. And she's okay with it as she connects with him. He's parenting their daughter from the other side. She has contact with him. But is it perfect? Hell no. Does she wish she was here in her body? Of course, because her life is challenging without his support. But they're making the best of it. And she's not letting it distort her. She's not staying in her anger at him or anger at God. Understand this. Grief, again, like anything we choose to experience in this world, feelings we have in this world, comes from a belief. You feel something because you have a belief that has triggered it. So the feeling of grief is triggered by the negative belief that we have, for example, that we'll never see them again. Some people have that belief clearly, right? That's it. Grief is literally a negative limiting belief. It's not a truth. That's why it feels so terrible. You can also feel grief if you choose to believe other limiting, kind of related negative beliefs about their transition, such as, this relationship through the veil is not going to be at all satisfying. Like I mentioned that before. That's a big one for people. They worry, like, am I really going to be happy? Well, how do you know until you move toward it, right? It can be if you accept it'll be different. But again, you can assign whatever meaning you want to this relationship, and it will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You say it's going to be meaningful, the universe has to make it meaningful for you. You say it's going to be inferior, the universe will give you proof that it's inferior. But make no mistake, you and I are the ones choosing, not God, not source, not the universe. It's a reflective mirror. So we have to take responsibility. What kind of life are we choosing? Now, if you have the limiting belief, choosing the negative limiting belief that you can't live without them, okay, and many people definitely believe that. I can't live without them. You're choosing to believe that. I'm choosing to believe that I can't live without my loved one. We know this is just a belief you're choosing because other people are living without their loved ones, maybe not as happily as they could if they had contact, but they're living, correct? So your belief that you'll never feel good or happy again because they're not here is the belief you're choosing. And the reason holding that belief will never, ever resonate with your soul is because your soul knows that that's not true. Negative emotion that comes from a belief we're choosing is an indication that the belief that we're choosing is false. Of course, you can live your life without your loved one. And we are showing you how you can live an extraordinary life with them, but without their physical presence, yeah, you won't have their physical presence. You must accept that. You must accept that you're not going to get a physical earthly hug. But I work with plenty of people who feel the hug of their loved ones. But if I tell you that and you sit back and go, yeah, but that's not enough for me. Well, that's your choice. That's your choice to believe that and experience that as your truth. It is. It's your choice. For some people, this whole journey of reunion through the veil is challenging them, because I'm not saying this is you or anybody here. I'm just saying, because I've worked with so many people and I see it. There are a lot of people who just are choosing to believe in their lives that they're victims. And you cannot believe you're a victim and have this relationship. That energy, that vibration is so low that the gap between you and where they are is astronomical. So yeah, you could have communication because they're so powerful, they can so communicate with you, but having the depth of connection, the contact that's possible, that's going to elude you. Right? So, but some people, when I teach this, I've seen it, they just go, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to believe that. That's fine, because you get to believe what you choose. I don't believe that I can create my reality. I don't choose to believe that I can have this relationship the way I want it to be. I don't believe XYZ. Okay. That is your choice. More power to you. But make no mistake, you're the one that's creating it.